KAYR, thank you very much, brother. I appreciate you coming through here, man.
I am so excited to be on your platform.
My pleasure.
You are doing great work in Newark.
Thank
I'm
you.
excited to just dive in on the conversation.
Thank you very much. Like I said, the conversation on the couch is typically what is your self-esteem ultimately? How do you see you? And then how has that played out over the course of your life and the choices that you've made and different paths that you've gone down? Your story is well documented and dynamic and inspiring and real. And so I'm very excited to be having a conversation with you on this subject, especially in light of the new book,
Yes.
which I'm excited about. And then, just in regard to your experiences and the choices that you are continuously making as far as who you're going to be in this life and what you're going to pour yourself into. You know what I mean? So from Philadelphia.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
West Philadelphia and
Yes.
North Philadelphia? Is that
Well, primarily I went to school in West Philadelphia, but we moved around about like 18 times before I turned 18. So I'm a West Philly guy. But
Okay.
I said I'm gonna make West Philly my anchor.
Yeah, I dig it. And at what age did you say that?
I think I wanted to make that middle school because let's just pull it back a little bit. And growing up like in Philly, my mother raised 7 children on welfare. And so she struggled to just keep food on the table.
Yeah.
And so we constantly were moving. So I got used to like instability, uncertainty, and without a margin of safety. And so when she sent us to go live with my stepdad in a studio apartment at the time, and we had to make a decision, what was I going to transfer to a school in North Philly? But I said, no, I already have my friends in middle school, West Philly. I spent that time. Even though we moved to South Philly, I kept going back.
Right.
So I made a decision. I'm going to stick to this West Philly thing as my anchor because I had so much uncertainty moving around.
Interesting. It's interesting to me how, like, as children, we all have a fantastic degree, typically speaking, we have a fantastic degree of confidence. As we get older, we get arrogant in one place or another, but we're incredibly confident as human beings when we're children, inclusive of, who we are, what we want, and who we see ourselves becoming. Like, children have dreams of becoming back in the day, astronaut or president or what have you.
Yes.
But it was never, nothing was too much. You know what I mean? Anything that a kid decides that they see themselves becoming, all for it.
Yes.
So for you, was there any specific thing that you knew you wanted to become when you were a child?
I think like pretty much everything really happened when I went to go live with my stepdad.
Yeah.
At that point, because what's fascinating is that we had about 15 people living in this studio apartment where we didn't have a stove. We just had a hot plate.
Yeah.
We didn't have a bathroom door. We just had a sheet. We didn't have a bathroom tub. We didn't have a bathroom shower. We just had a tub.
Yeah.
And we had all these people living in the studio apartment with rats and roaches. And so that was a point where my stepdad said, don't be an F up like me and your siblings and your mom. You see how we live? He said, don't do as I do.
Yeah.
Do as I say. I know what it takes to be successful. I just never applied it. And it's because he had so much to deal with from family issues, from not being the most well-educated person. So it was very difficult. So what I said is, I'm going to take the perfect from the imperfect person. And so it was at that point I had to make a decision. Am I going to live like this forever?
Right.
Or am I going to have this internal mind shift? And so I shifted my mindset. And so that was a point when I really started saying, you know what? Nobody's coming to save me.
Yeah.
I have to try to get the hell out of here. I'm going to be stuck.
Yeah.
And so that's when it really hit home. And I had said, you know what? I gotta change my ways, because prior to him coming back in my life, I was a knucklehead, smoking, drinking. And this is from 4th grade to like 8th grade, just wilding out because I had so much anger and I didn't love myself, and the self-esteem was missing because life was just so much uncertainty. So it made me not really love who I was. And so in the book, Can't Break Me, I talk about how it's a story about how my past shaped me, but never defined me.
Yeah, yeah. At that young age, you know, fourth grade to eighth grade, your father has given you what is a gem, what is wisdom, even if he isn't the practitioner of it,
Yeah.
right? But do you have other mentors at the
Yes.
time?
Yes. That was the turning point. The first introduction, the first time I heard an adult say that about themselves, that was close to me. And I was shocked. It blew me away. Made me start looking at, look, I have siblings that didn't graduate from high school with children back to back, back to back. Even some of the baby daddies were living in the place. I'm like, what the hell? I can see my own family. What the hell is baby daddy doing here? Everybody should get a job. I'm on welfare and struggling. And so what I noticed is that I was going towards all these toxic environments because I didn't know any better. So you run to gang violence and all this different stuff and smoking and bad habits. What I noticed is that I needed to have nurturing environments. So I started to go out there and find nurturing environments that will pour into me and love me and encourage me and work with me. And so then I start finding a bunch of mentors. I start collecting mentors like people collect baseball cards back in the day. And so I would say, I'm going to get a teacher. I'm going to get a pastor. I'm going to get a counselor. All these people are going to fill these voids because I need someone not just to tell me not to do what they say, but I need someone to show me to do what I need to do to get to the next level. So I start collecting and what I call my own board of directors. And so those people don't only give me good words, they also become sponsors and put their name on the line to open doors for me, put money in my pocket when I can't afford something, and be honest with me and provide that candor that a lot of young people need.
Yeah. You know, you remind me of something Tony Robbins. I've heard Tony Robbins say, "Is like, you know, we don't live life; we live the life we pay attention to." Right? And I'm curious for you, especially at that time, like, can you remember some of the early proofs that this path was the right path or a productive path or rewarding path? Like, how early did it start proving itself as the right way to go?
It started in seventh grade. I didn't realize how important seventh grade was because I was like, oh, you know, if you're smart, you're going to eventually get what you want. And then I was getting literally C's and D's and a couple of B's because, you know, I like the beautiful women. But I noticed that when I applied to high schools, I didn't get to the high schools I wanted to because if we had to go to school for like 100 and let's say 80 days, I missed 100 days because I was hooking and trying to wild out and having fun. And so my stepdad, after that conversation, that year, eighth grade, I had my best grades, pretty much all A's and a few B's. And then I started saying, oh, you know, I am kind of smart. I really can do this. I'm not as slow as I thought. Like someone put in my autographed book, one of my friends that you graduated from middle school, she said, I can't believe you made it. And she literally meant that because she saw some of my siblings get pregnant at like 14, 15, 16 and drop out. And she's like, y'all always moving and struggling, da-da-da. There's no way you're gonna end up just like them. Some people believe that. And so I started to buy into that, but I shifted my mindset and graduated from high school, valedictorian, school president, class president, debate captain, track captain. And this is the kid that went in middle school. I remember going out for track practice and they said, KR, we need you to run around a block. I said, ain't nobody got time for that. I ain't running on no concrete. To shifting my mindset, doing a 180. And so when I started to love myself and I started to be vulnerable with other people, that's when it started to see the small evidence. I always encourage people and I say, look, if you do what's necessary, then you do what's possible. You will find yourself doing the impossible. So I just kept saying, let me just get up and just go to school. Don't miss school anymore. Perfect attendance. Go to tutoring, turn my homework in. Compete for an essay competition or go out for something. And it started to have a ripple effect. I started finding myself doing the impossible.
You know, it's interesting. It's like there is the making a good choice and receiving the benefit of the reward of that good choice, right? And obviously that has its own motivational qualities and encouraging qualities. There's also developing an appetite for the challenge and enjoying the struggle, enjoying the uphill climb, before the reward comes, before there's a whiff of reward, you can develop an appetite for the climb itself. You know what I mean? Do you remember, like, as a young person, in any areas where it was the climb that you had an interest in, or that you started
Absolutely. I think that from that very early on, I knew I was behind. And so the first part was to admit that I'm behind and admit that I need help. So I remember my mentor and I will go to like the Chinese restaurant. I used to go with my friends and be like, can I get like 3 wings with shrimp fried rice? And my mentor one time was like, KAYR, what do you want to get from the Chinese restaurant? I said, shrimp fried rice. Everybody gets that. And I didn't realize that I had an issue with enunciating words. And so I was trying to say shrimp fried rice. And so I found a teacher in high school to work me 1 hour a week. That wasn't my English teacher in my department, but another small learning community, to teach me how to enunciate words. And I did that in high school. And when I got to Bowdoin College, I found a drama teacher to meet me once a week to help me learn how to enunciate words. Because I realized I needed help. And I had goals. And I said, you know what? I am going to enjoy the process. Because I think that if I can have the patience, if I have the faith the size of a mustard seed, things are going to work out. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I know it's going to move in the right direction. I just got to keep committing and believing. And so that's how I knew early on.
You know, there is the struggles and challenges of growing up poor.
Yes.
There is, like, physically, you know, having a restriction of resources or lack of resources for yourself, or seeing it in your household, and then there's the environment and neighborhood, and seeing it as a culture on a broader scale, right? There is, as a person though, there is something about, like, turning your mind into your environment. Like, I'm just locked in here, and whatever's happening is happening, but I'm living in here. You know what I mean? Do you, how do you speak to young people who are living in the environments, whether they are, you know, affluent or not, right? Or do you speak to young people about the necessity to lock in? If you've decided that you're going to chart a course for yourself as an individual, like, ignore the rewards and the circumstance, because the path is the path. You know, does that make sense?
Like, for me, I don't necessarily tell people to live in their mindset. What I tell people to do is assess your current situation. And there are gaps and things are missing. Like, I initially used to hang out with friends who now, my initial group of friends that I used to smoke weed with and drink and do all that crazy stuff in middle school and elementary, some of them have been murdered. Some have murdered other people. Even my brother, when I went off to Bowdoin College, he went to prison for attempted murder. He's 1 year younger than me. So I'm going off the main, he's going off for prison 12 to 20 years. So the first thing I had to do is say, this can't just be a theoretical exercise or just a mental exercise. I have to take this concept in my head and bring it to life. So the first thing I did is change my friends. I got a whole new group of friends. So therefore I have a new nurturing environment. I also decided to join certain after school programs and a church for me, because I said, these people may not be perfect, but I know I can find 1 or 2 good people in there that's going to help me change the way I live, not just the way I think. So I had to take the concept from inside my brain and bring it to life. And so I had said, I need to get mentors. They're going to be books. Some mentors will be books, and some mentors will be human beings. And so when I talk to young people and older people, or anyone that is stuck, you have to first be willing to acknowledge that you're not alone, that you have to become vulnerable, and you have to go and create these environments that are nurturing for you. So you can't be angry because my parents, when my mother raised me, or stepdad, whomever, they did the best with what they knew and how they knew. So I can't hold that anger or guilt. I said, I have to shift my mindset and take steps to get out
Yeah.
of this point where I feel stuck,
Yeah.
where I feel like the world is hating me. Because sometimes the world is taking more than it's giving. And I had to learn how to build resilience to push through.
Yeah.
Because motivation is not going to get you every day.
Yeah.
But I said, what is my desire? I want to get out of here. I said the 3 Ds, desire. Then I got to have discipline, stick to it. And I have to be determined. So when I don't get the result that I want, I don't let it knock me out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I keep pushing forward.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happened. I took it from the mindset to the streets.
Yeah. There is in the mindset, in the environments, in the circumstances, there are what happens to us and what we experience as a human being. But then, and I don't mean this as a crutch or a blame or anything of that sort, but then there is being a black man in America.
Yep.
And there are certain aspects and components to being black in America across generations that it's not that they haven't been documented. It's not that, there isn't, books and books in academia that talk about, or in psychology that talk about these things, but in the lived experience, it's still not quite discussed or understood to the degree that it could be, right? And then for someone like yourself who has lived and charted such a transformative life, you have a living knowledge of what being a black man in America in the time period that you're here,
Yes.
how that has affected you, and then how you can then turn around and use that information and that data to project forward. You know what I mean? But can you talk to me about, like, specifically for black men? You're a black man, I'm a black man.
Yes.
What is your point of view on that? Like, what are some of the things that you observed, and what are the insights that you gleaned?
So one thing that I do love about my my stepdad, when he was imparting his wisdom in me as a young man, he had said, look, number one, you have to just see yourself achieving everything.
Yeah.
So every day you got to wake up, tell yourself that this is your time, that this is your opportunity.
Yeah.
So you have to self-talk sometimes. So the mentality that I adopt, regardless of if I'm poor, if I'm struggling, or I've been abused, or people hate me, or I've been in prison, is that I have to beat 3 people every day. I have to beat my opponent, whomever that is, whether they look like me or they don't.
Right.
Or if the system, whatever, if the odds are against me, that's why I say, can't break me, how I shifted my mindset and overcame the odds. So 1, beat your opponent.
Yeah.
2, you're gonna have to beat the ref. Because sometimes the calls are going to go against you. And I don't know who's calling me. It could be my friend, it could be my enemy, it could be a white, black, Asian, anybody. But I'm on the lookout that I'm going to beat my opponent sitting across from me, pay attention that I beat the ref, and I got to beat myself. Because sometimes I'm going to self-doubt. I say, I'm not supposed to be here. Nobody loved me. Nobody.
Right.
No, my parents didn't come from wealth. I'm not supposed to be a multimillionaire. I'm not supposed to have my name on buildings. That was not the life that was made for me. I'm supposed to be in the hood.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be locked up. I'm supposed to be mental. I'm supposed to have all But I said, you know what? I'm going to beat the ref, beat my opponent, and beat myself. And if I beat those 3 people every day, ain't no way I'm going to end up the same way I came into this world. That's the thing I try to tell people, is that, and this book is not, Can't Break Me is not a success story. What it is, it's a promise to myself and a promise to anyone who has a loss or been through a difficult time, to let you know that your circumstances may explain you, but they don't get to define you. And that is what people miss. So I think that especially us brothers and our sisters, if we have that mentality that there's no way I'm losing today. I'm working harder than anybody else. I'm working smarter than anybody else. And I'm looking at the opponent, looking at the ref, looking at the rules, and I'm not going to let my self-doubt overtake me. And so I tell myself every day, even if I have to file for bankruptcy, whatever it is, I say it's not over. I tell people, I said, look, I may lose everything tomorrow, but because I was broke and homeless before, I said it'll be my second go around, and I'm gonna be better at it. So that's my take.
For sure. I'm curious about what is your relationship with two-part. What's your relationship with ambition? How do you define it, and then how do you relate to ambition as a characteristic?
So for me personally, I think I'm at a point in my life, and I talk about this in the book, where initially you're like, I'll just graduate from high school if I'm valedictorian or I'm on Dean's List, I feel good. Or if I was fortunate to work at Goldman Sachs, the top investment bank at the time. Or I have an MBA from Dartmouth, one in the Ivy League. So I'm like, I'm checking all the boxes. I'm a millionaire. And so people traditional, especially in the United States, you think about ambition and you say, my ambition is tied to myself.
Yeah.
I don't buy that. I tell people I'm not self-made, I'm community-made. And what I mean by that is that I'm a reflection, or I embody everybody that have invested in my story. Just sitting here to you today, you're one of the people that now invest in my story. So all the people that have poured in me and helped develop me, open doors for me, I am community made, not self-made. So therefore, I am not just focused on generational wealth, which we know is like a north to south concept. I buy a property and 40 years from now, my family can inherit that property and say we did well. No, I talk about transformational wealth, where you go from a west to east concept, where I go out and I start a business and I'm the owner and I can hire family members and friends. And I also not only can hire them, I can also give them equity in my businesses. And they don't have to contribute financially. So when they walk by a building, they don't only have to say, like if my brother and his son is walking by a building, they don't just say, hey, that's Uncle KR's building.
Right.
And we work for him. No, that's our building.
Yeah.
We own part of that.
Yeah.
So it's about creating opportunities. So when I do a deal, $1 million deal, my brother Champ gets a 3% commission. Now he was able to go buy a house for himself, his wife, and 6 children. And he's able to gift his in-laws. Now they were able to buy a duplex, or I hire my aunt or my brother or family members or even my business partner. So it's about transforming people's lives. So when I think about ambition, ambition is not focused on one person.
Right.
Ambition is focused on your community.
Yeah.
And so the more I achieve, the more I open doors for people that are in my community.
I dig it. I heard somebody say recently what makes a king different from citizen is a king wakes up concerned about the kingdom. And that far-reaching concern and attention is why it's appropriate that he's the king. He's not just concerned with himself or with his household or with his neighborhood even. And the kingdom is not all made up of people who like him.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So the second part to that question is, what's your relationship with gratitude?
For me, oh my goodness, I am actually so grateful. Every day I wake up, I want to do cartwheels. I used to be able to and do flips. I was watching these NFL players. I'm like, damn, I used to be able to jump like that. All the wide receivers jumping around. So for me, I'm always grateful. And I constantly tell people, thank you. I appreciate you. I value you. And not just with my words, but with my actions. So for instance, I am not Catholic, but my stepmom, who is Catholic, and she's almost 80, I did not grow up with her having a close relationship. But I remember my biological dad telling me before he passed, he said, take care of your mother, my biological mom. And then he said, also take care of Joanne, his wife. And I helped raise my nieces and nephews. And he said, make sure you look out for the girls. And so for me, the way I show that I am grateful to others, I go to Catholic Mass at 8 a.m. some Sundays, even though I'm tired as hell and I'm not a Catholic. But I want to be there to honor someone else, to show my gratitude for what she's done for my family, but also what my dad did for me as well. So that's how I show gratitude. Or this past weekend, I was exhausted, but my nephew had an admitted student weekend at Arcadia University. And his parents was there, his mom and dad were there. But he said, as the young people like to say, Unc, I want you to be there. And I said, all right, I'll show up. And we were at the table and the professor had said, wow, you even got your uncle to go out. Because this is my way to show gratitude to your mother and your father. And also my love towards you. And so the way I show gratitude, it's not just through words, but it's through your actions.
Yes, for sure.
Being
For sure.
present.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. 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 Um, yeah. There's a relationship I have with gratitude. I love talking about gratitude. I love listening to people talk about gratitude. And gratitude for me is it's how I see the difference. It's the difference between obligation and duty. Duty includes gratitude. Like I already got something. So I have a duty to do this thing. You can be obligated to something without being in receipt of anything. You just,
Yes.
it's on you. You got to do that. But your duties are things that you're already in repayment mode. You
Yes,
received
yes.
something. You know what I mean? And if you can be appreciative of what you have received,
Yes.
if you can use your gratitude to generate new energy, generate new contribution,
Yes.
then it's cyclical. You get more things to be grateful for.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And then it inspires you to keep on that path, keep doing that. I do want to talk explicitly about the book.
Okay.
So, Can't Break Me, How I Shifted My Mindset and Overcame the Odds. Who is this book written to?
I actually wrote this book for anyone that feel as though that they're stuck, that they're alone, that they're tired. This book is to help you unlock your life, that greatness within.
Yeah.
So I use my experience to show you what you can achieve with a disciplined life. And so it's not necessarily for one age or one group or one sex. I use my experience to show you it's a universal principle that we all want to be loved and we all want to love and we all want to feel as though we have a purpose-driven life.
Yeah.
And so through my stories, I let you know that all these people helped make me and that despite what the world throw at you, keep coming out the corner swinging.
Yeah, yeah. You know, it's interesting to me that, you know, some folks have this trajectory where, you know, they're born in adverse circumstances and environment, and they chart a path and chart a course for transformation and success, and they meet their success and they achieve, you know, their dreams. And whether they are explicitly material dreams or whether it's just to not be over there anymore. And some folks, and I'm especially fascinated by it, some folks, when it comes down to their tangible offering to the masses, it goes back to the individual, like to the person, you know what I mean? And regardless of, like you said, a specific gender or sex, regardless of if you're black, white, Asian, regardless of, you know, all these things, it's like for whoever and for everybody,
Yes.
you can determine to match your desires with your discipline.
Yes.
And just stay on that every day, every day. And the promise is it worked for me in your case, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
And this is a proclamation that
it's
if you try it,
it's a blueprint.
yeah, it will work.
So
right?
in the book, what I do is I explore identity.
Yeah.
'Cause at times I question who I am.
Yeah.
Question who am I around? Do these people care about me? Or are they trying to take from me? Or are they trying to pour into me? So I'm nervous. I'm showing you. We're exploring also accountability. How do I hold myself accountable?
Yep.
Am I supposed to, just because that is my parent, am I supposed to hold that guilt over them?
Right.
Because they didn't do what I want them to do?
Right.
So we explore the idea of accountability. We explore the identity, the idea of grief. Like for instance, I've lost siblings to murder, to the streets, to health. Before I turned 29 years old, I lost my biological parents and my grandparents. And recently just lost my sister. And so I had to deal with grief that I thought that I was past. But it lets you know that, look, this is a constant thing. Life be lifing.
Yeah.
And so I explore that in the book and let people know, look, just because you see the person on social media or YouTube or all these different things or TV and everything looks perfect, we all have those days where it's tough. Where we need someone to say, like I have a step-aunt who's turned 92 this month. And she doesn't want anything from me. She lives by herself. And I call her when I'm having a tough day. And she says, is that my nephew? I said, yes, it is. And she said, Are they giving you any issues up there? Because you know I'm a lawyer and I will come up there and you know I will give them the business. And it lifts my spirit.
Yep.
So it's telling people, look, we all can do this. Run your own race at your own pace.
Yep.
I don't want you to be the best version of me or you. I want you to be the best version of yourself. So what I do is I explore the idea of meeting people where they are. That is the utmost respect that you can have.
For
Don't
sure.
be condescending.
For sure.
Love them and respect them.
Yeah.
And say, you do what you got to do. I do what I got to do.
Yeah. You reminded me of something. A friend of mine, Jay Reed, said Jay Reed is a musician. Like, he's a rapper. He's a violinist. He's just brilliant. And he's doing this campaign on TikTok, 1,000 days of practice. So his practice of the violin, right? 1,000 days straight. And he's documenting it and sharing it, in real time, which is like super dope. But he said something, I think yesterday, in a post that, like, in this 1,000 days of practice, something that really rose to the surface for him is that even though you're practicing every day, even though he's practicing every day, the improvement in the craft is not linear. And he likens it to basketball. It's like, if you decide you're gonna practice your foul shots and you're gonna, your goal is to make 100 straight, right? Don't think that the day that you make 50 straight, the next day you might not make 49. You might not hit 50 again for a while. You're not gonna incrementally just get better and better and better. There will be dips, there will be ebbs. And in the macro, you are getting better because you are being consistent.
Yes.
Right? And things are working that you can't quite quantify or calculate. But in the individual incremental, it is not linear.
Yes.
In your life experience, the things that you have either determined that you wanted to do, or just some things that just had momentum. Surely in numerous areas, the momentum dropped. You know what I mean? Or what was an achievable goal for whatever reason got delayed. There was a twist or a turn in it, right? Can you talk about, like, what your mentality has been and how you try to remind yourself to maintain the right mentality when it's an ebb or a twist, or when it isn't linear?
Oh, the thing that's so fascinating is that if you look at my life on paper, on a resume, you would say KR's life has been linear. He graduated valedictorian from University High School, comprehensive. He get a presidential scholarship. He works at Goldman Sachs. He goes to Ivy League school, and he owns 160 units. And he just retired at 37.
Right.
People say, "Wow, it's like his life been perfect," but that's not the whole story. That's part of the story. That's just the cover. So what we want to do and Can't Break Me is I want to help you understand that every turn of my life that I had a big achievement, I always get slammed. And the first time is I'm going off to Bowdoin College on a presidential scholarship, and my brother, 1 year younger, is going to prison for attempted murder. How am I supposed to take that? That's trying to make me like, what? Why am I successful and not him? Then I'm in college. Another example. I'm working at Credit Suisse doing investment banking. I'm doing well, and the week prior to this phone call to my mother, I take my sister and my mother shopping, and I buy them new appliances, washer, dryer, a range, a stove, refrigerator. Take all my nieces and nephews out. I rented like an old limo in Philly, took them to the arcade and everything. I'm on top of the world. So then that final week, I go out to lunch, and they tell us, they say, KR, you got the offer. So I run back home, didn't have a cell phone at that time, call at the payphone. I call my mother. I said, oh my goodness, you're not going to believe this. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. She said, I said, I got some good news. I said, I just got an offer. She said, KR, not right now. Not right now. I said, why? What's going on? She said, your sister, it's your sister. Lindell shot her 5 times in the face, and I need you to come home. My heart dropped. you can hear a pencil hit the ground. And I had to make a decision. So I packed my stuff up. And this is my junior year before I'm about to go into my senior. I have to come home.
Yeah.
And we go to my brother's house and everybody's in hiding. And the next week I have interviews lined up for other companies. And my niece, I remember my niece sitting on the steps. My sister, the father of Lindell was the father of 3 of her children. And my niece, who was 4, she said, "Uncle, don't be strong for me. Be strong for my mother." Because kids that grow up in abject, deep poverty, they grow up fast. And so I had to make a decision.
Yeah.
Do I move forward or do I just stay and freeze?
Yeah.
Because that made a lot of people fall into deep depression in my family, and some never recovered. So I made a decision. After he got arrested, I went back, interviewed, got offers with everybody I interviewed, went to Bowdoin College, signed up for professional counseling, had my best academic year, and went to Goldman Sachs.
Yeah.
And then that is repeated throughout the book. So every journey, just like this book is coming out in May 12th, 2026. Check out KAYR Motivates. And my sister passed away this past Christmas. So it's like, for me, it's always been this type of challenge where life is lifing and taking more than it gives and trying to knock me off my course. Say, don't get too high.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to run that fast.
Yeah.
And so for me, that is the thing I help people understand, that, look, you don't have to give up.
Yeah.
You don't have to feel as though you're alone. You can always rebuild. You can always see the other side.
Yeah.
So instead of just looking at the glass and saying, this glass is half empty, I also say it's half full. And you know what? I'm going to get it back to the top.
Yeah.
So that's been my approach.
Yeah. Man, it's powerful. Super powerful. Sometimes I wonder, like, what is life? Like, what is this? It's astounding. To be here at all is incredible.
Yeah.
To happen to have my life experience is one of one, which makes it incredible, makes it in and of itself extraordinary. And, for you, I'm curious, like, your point of view on the largest scope that you consider. Like, what's going on here besides, you deciding that you want to live this life, you want to transform in these ways, you want to change these things.
Yes.
Because it's you, but it is your nieces and nephews. It is your brothers and sisters. It is your aunt, and you know what I mean? And you get to be the pilot of, your own vessel.
Yes.
At the same time, you're aware that, like, because you've chosen to pilot it this way, everybody around you is having a reflection of that experience in some way or another. Even those who are not on the team per se, right? Yes. This is still the story. You know what I mean? Like, you've changed their story, even if they're not, able to work with you every day or have equity in the building or what have you. It's like, this story still has changed because you exist.
Yes.
You know what I mean? How do you manage mentally the scale of it all? Because it's your life is extraordinary. But again, every life is extraordinary.
Yes.
Right? But the more you're aware and centered in what you're doing while you're here, the more you can get a front row seat to how amazing all of this is. You have an extraordinary life, and you have people that impress you. You know what I mean? So, like, how do you, I guess, fathom it all? Is it just a thing that you're doing with your time on the planet, or like, how do you see it?
So, like, for me, I always envision the way some people say, like, their legacy, they just have children. Like, for me, that's never been like the idea of a legacy.
Yeah.
A legacy is about, how do I have a larger impact on the world because I'm a citizen of the world. And so the way I do that is by sharing my core values and principles and going out there and enabling people to do the same. So you have an inner gift, and I want to pretty much pour into you because that's what people have done for me.
Yeah.
So the more I can be there or be present, the better off I am. Like some people, we're all going to derive pleasure from different things. Like I don't own a car, even though I own multiple buildings. And people derive pleasure from a car. I don't. I derive pleasure from helping develop people, inspiring people, loving people, showing that love really should be unconditional, but also teaching people key principles. So just because I love you does not mean I should let you give me your butt to kiss. So I want to teach you, this is how you conduct things. These are the principles of how I think life should be led. And so I hope that that inspires people. So that I derive pleasure from that. So when I see that I'm hanging out with people who share my values, like be a decent person. Like what I like to do is don't treat me the way you want to be treated. I tell people, treat people better than the way you want to be treated. Because if we had multiple people out here treating people better, our whole lives would be better. I don't want the bare minimum.
Right.
So I do that. Everything I give, I also give it freely. I don't expect you to, just because I bought you something expensive, I don't expect that back. What I would prefer is you do something kind, that you spend time with me, that you show me that, hey, we're having a good experience here. So for me, that's how I live every day. I don't try to measure my success or someone else's success against one another. I compete just against myself. So if I have a loved one that say, oh, I love cleaning, I love doing this, or I have someone else that say, I love being a real estate agent, do your thing. I'm good. I recommend you just hold it down. If that's your thing. And the other thing that I think that is so important is that we tend to give strangers a second chance, but we won't give our own loved ones a second chance. So you could have an employee work for you. I have multiple people work for me, and you'll see them and you'll say, well, you know, Unc was at one of my family members. He was at the club dancing last night, talking about he was sick. He didn't show up to work. I said, that's none of my business. He had to take the day off. He had a good time. Let him do what he got to do. When he come back, he come back. As long as you do what you have to do, that's what I expect. And so I put forth a concerted effort to say, look, let people live their own life. Of course, step in and impart wisdom. And I think that's what helps me stay grounded and feel whole.
I'm curious to know from you, from the things that you've experienced, observed, and done, what are like one or two personal truths that you've realized that, like, as far as you're concerned, at a universal level, this idea is true? Like for me, gratitude generates more gratitude, more opportunity for gratitude. That's a truth, right? To me. And that's something that I center. So like when I say to me is, I mean that I make it a pillar for myself. Like what are some of those, or one or two of those for you?
One thing I definitely think is that it doesn't cost you anything to be kind, or be nice. So the number one thing, if you can't do anything else, just become a good spirited person. There's no reason to be mean-spirited.
True.
So the number one thing I tell people is always treat people better than the way they treat you. So when I pray in the morning and night or what have you, I always pray for my enemies before I pray for myself. And so for me, I understand they may be going through something, or maybe they just don't like me, and that's their prerogative. But I'm still going to pray for the other person. So for me, that's one of the deep truths for me, is that you have to treat people better than the way you want to be treated. And the other thing is realize that the idea of self-made is a myth. So you are a reflection of your community. And you get to pick your friends, not your family.
Yep.
And so once you figure out that, you'll be in good shape. And one thing I always stress, especially when I talk to young professionals and young people, is that you go to work for a paycheck, you go to school for an education, and you go to your loved ones for joy and happiness. Don't mix them up, because we tend to say, oh, I went to work and my boss made me feel bad. Or I went to school and they don't love me.
Right.
They're not set up to love you.
Right.
You're putting all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah. That's dope. That's super dope. I want to ask you about your relationship with death.
Okay.
You talked about grief earlier. You talked about some of your loved ones
Yes.
that you've lost. You also talked about counseling that you received.
Yes.
My sister does work in grief, and something that she brought to mind, helped me realize, is that we grieve so many things, so many more things than death.
Yes.
We grieve not getting a job you thought you were going to get.
Yes.
You know, you saw yourself in the job, and then that got taken away. You actually grieve that. You grieve relationships. You grieve the person that you used to be. There's a lot more things that we grieve. And so I'm curious to know about your relationship with death and grief, and how do you manage?
So for me, I actually think everything happens for a reason, and there's a purpose behind it. And so I tell people what's so important is that you have to figure out how you deal with grief on your own, or someone passing. So for me, I actually enjoy like getting a pen and a pad and just writing all the good things about the person, all the bad things about the person, then actually open up maybe some crayons or color markers. And I'm drawing shapes and colors and sun and stars and everything, because I'm trying to remember the good times in a sense of joy. So for me, it's a celebration of what I love and what I miss. And so I do that with a little exercise. And then the next thing I like to do is I go watch a movie. Like my mother, when I think of my mother, I think of Home Alone. And the character name is Kevin. And you can see the mother is overwhelmed with all those children. But it's a happy ending. And so I remember, Kevin, what's going on? Because I was a knucklehead and got all these siblings running around. So it brings me back that moment. So I do the creative stuff. Then I go watch a movie or eat some of my mother's favorite food. Then I listen to some of her music. And then I pray. But that helps me work through the pain. Where the tears are not from pain, they're from joy. Because I'm her little boy. When she used to walk me to school, she said, "That's my almond joy." One of her favorite candy bars. And so that's how I know that's deep, and people probably don't want to go there, but I'm comfortable in my masculinity and my happiness and my joy and my success, that I don't mind engaging with my grief or my happiness. And so that's how I deal with that.
That's beautiful, man. Truly. My last question I want to ask you, I'd like to ask people this question kind of like a cocktail party or whatever, networking event type of question. Clear everything that has to do with work away. What is KAYR good at?
Well, I would say that I'm very blessed. Like some people are just innately blessed with certain things. I'm very good with connecting with people and bringing the best out of people.
Where did you get that from?
I think that it was developed through my community. Whether that was the principal or pastors or teachers or coaches. But I think that inclination to want to help people was probably something I was born with.
I think it's a wonderful cheat code to accept that there are certain things that we were just born with. We don't have to try to work out a calculation for why, how, or if. We just accept it and then do right by the gift. You know what I mean? Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Truly appreciate you.
And you guys make sure you follow KAYR Motivates. That's KAYR Motivates on social media and my website.
Yeah, dope.
And make sure you check out the book,
Yeah.
Can't Break Me.
Yes, indeed.